Ever sunk hours into a game you pre-ordered only for microtransactions to hit you like a brick wall?
Ugh, tell me about it.
I mean, it's the classic gaming dilemma, right?
Yeah, it's a tough one. Developers need to make money, of course, but...
But where's the line?
Right, and unfortunately, it often feels like innovation takes a backseat to, well, just squeezing more money out of players.
And that's what makes today so interesting. We're diving into PixelPai, a Danish company that wants to revolutionize how games make money using something called the Finternet. That sounds kind of sci-fi, right?
It does have a certain ring to it.
Luckily, we've got PixelPai's own documents for this deep dive. No speculation, just straight to the source. So, no more doom and gloom about microtransactions. Let's get into PixelPai, a company that claims they have the answer.
And they're not just blowing smoke. The problems they're highlighting are very real, like traditional finance. Way too slow for the speed of online gaming today. Think about it. Waiting days for a simple transaction to go through in the age of instant gratification.
Yeah, it just doesn't add up.
Exactly.
Okay, so we get the why behind PixelPai. But what's their grand solution?
They're building what they call a super wallet platform. Think of it like a central hub for all your gaming finances, but turbocharged with blockchain technology.
So speed, transparency, all that good stuff.
Exactly.
But hold up, we got to talk about this Finternet thing, because to me, that sounds like something straight out of Ready Player One.
Right. But it's actually a concept from the Bank for International Settlements.
Whoa, for real?
Yeah, so it's not just some made-up buzzword. We're talking about a future where you could transfer any financial asset instantly, globally.
Okay, now we're cooking. But how does PixelPai fit into all of this?
Well, they're starting with something surprisingly familiar. Digital identity. Think about all those gaming accounts you have. PixelPai wants to give you control over that data.
So less Big Brother, more my data, my rule.
Precisely. And they're using soul-bound tokens to do this, like a digital fingerprint of your gaming achievements, purchases, everything.
So not just a universal login, but proof of your entire gaming legacy.
You got it.
Right.
And get this, these tokens could even let you profit from your data.
Now you're speaking my language. Okay, so digital identity is the first move. What else is up their sleeves?
They're talking about tokenized cash, basically digital money backed by real currency. Imagine buying something in one game and using it in another seamlessly. They even mentioned integrating with existing systems like MasterCard.
Whoa, okay. This is getting huge. Are they trying to build a whole new financial system just for gamers?
It seems that way. Imagine taking out a microloan using rare in-game items as collateral, or even getting your salary paid into a PixelPai wallet. It's ambitious, to say the least.
Ambitious is an understatement. But how realistic is this? They're pretty new on the scene, right?
True, they're a startup, but already making moves. They landed a major client in the gaming industry, a 3-year deal worth over 1.5 million euros.
Okay, so they're putting their money where their mouth is. What's their timeline for all of this?
They're aiming for EU-wide operation by 2025 and then global expansion.
That's really soon for something so complex. It's exciting, but makes you wonder, are they moving too fast? What could go wrong?
That's the million-dollar question. It all sounds amazing, but we need a dose of healthy skepticism too.
Right. What are the potential downsides, the risks, and what does it all actually mean for the average gamer? Okay, so PixelPai's got this big vision, right? Reshaping how money works in games, the Finternet, super wallets. But let's be real for a sec. What does this actually mean for the average person playing games?
That's the million-dollar question, right?
Yeah.
Most people just want to relax, play their games, not become blockchain experts.
Exactly. So how does PixelPai make this tech actually work for everyday players?
Imagine microtransactions. But good.
A bold dream.
Hear me out. Remember those soul-bound tokens? They track your achievements, right? What if instead of just bragging rights, those achievements got you discounts, exclusive items, stuff like that?
Okay, now you've got my attention. It's like frequent flyer miles, but for gaming.
Right. And because it's blockchain, it all happens instantly, securely. No waiting, no wondering if your purchase went through or whatever.
So it's about trust, too, which, let's be honest, can be an issue online.
Big time. And that's a big part of PixelPai's whole thing, reducing the cost of trust, as they call it. Blockchain's transparency is supposed to make things more trustworthy for everyone, but got to be realistic, too.
No system's perfect. So, downsides. What could go wrong?
Security is the big one. Blockchain is solid, sure, but PixelPai's platform itself. What if someone hacks it or tricks people into giving up their info?
Happens all the time, unfortunately.
Exactly. And then there's getting people to use it in the first place. Blockchain's still kind of scary to a lot of folks.
Yeah, it's got that whole techie, confusing reputation.
PixelPai knows that, though. They're really pushing the whole easy-to-use angle. But even then, this Finternet thing, it's a lot.
It feels huge, almost overwhelming.
Totally get that. And we got to remember, PixelPai is just one company. Governments, banks, even other tech companies, they'll all have a say in how this Finternet actually ends up working.
So it's not just about whether PixelPai succeeds, but what rules get made along the way, which is a whole other can of
A
worms.
big, messy can.
Important. For sure. Okay, so PixelPai's got this ambitious roadmap. What are some of the big roadblocks they could hit trying to make all this happen?
Regulations, for one. Finance is heavily regulated, and for good reason. PixelPai is walking a tightrope, trying to innovate without stepping on toes.
Too strict and nothing new happens. Too loose and it's the Wild West. Not ideal.
Exactly. Then there's managing expectations. They've promised a lot, they got to deliver, or people will lose faith.
And in this space, trust is everything, especially when you're talking about people's money and data.
100%. And let's not forget the competition. Blockchain changes fast. New companies pop up all the time. PixelPai can't rest on their laurels. You got to keep innovating to survive.
It's like a high-stakes race, but high rewards, too, if they can pull it off.
For sure. PixelPai is playing for keeps. If they can handle the regulations, the competition, and actually deliver on their promises, we could be talking about a whole new world of gaming and finance as we know it.
That's a lot to process. So before we wrap up, let's recap what we've learned about PixelPai and their master plan.
Sounds good. Let's go back to basics. What they're offering, what it could mean for players, and those make-or-break challenges ahead.
All right, so we've talked a big game about PixelPai, their vision, the good, the bad, all of it. But now for the big question, can they actually pull this off?
That's what it all comes down to, right? And honestly, it's a tough one. Predicting the future, especially with something like blockchain, it's nearly impossible.
Yeah, no crystal ball here. But we've got their documents, their plans. Based on all that, what's your expert gut feeling? What'll make or break PixelPai?
I think it hinges on a few key things. One, execution. Ideas are great, but can they build this platform? Make it secure, easy to use, able to handle all this Finternet stuff?
Because talk is cheap, right? Gotta walk the walk.
Exactly. Two, how adaptable are they? Blockchain moves fast. New tech pops up all the time. PixelPai has to keep up, change with the times, or they get left behind.
It's like being first isn't enough. Gotta stay ahead of the game.
Right. And last but not least, they got to be good at explaining all this to gamers, to finance people, everyone.
Because if nobody gets what they're doing, or even worse, get the wrong idea, that's a recipe for disaster.
Totally. It's about bridging that gap, making blockchain less scary, showing how everyone benefits.
So it's the tech A&D, the story they tell about it. Gotta have both.
100%. If they nail those three things, building it right, keeping up with the changes, and getting people on board, then yeah, I think PixelPai could really change the game. Pun intended.
Big if, but exciting to think about. So for our listeners out there, equally fascinated by this whole thing, what's the one big takeaway you want them to remember?
More than anything, remember this. We're at the very beginning of a huge change in how we think about value online. Who owns what, how we build trust, even just community. PixelPai is just one part of it, but the stuff they're working on, it'll affect all of us.
This is bigger than just games, huh? It's about the future of the internet as we know it.
Exactly. So keep asking questions, keep learning, keep your minds open. This is all being figured out right now, and we're all part of it.
And on that note, we'll leave you with this. PixelPai says they can make a fairer, more trustworthy internet, starting with games. But can tech do that on its own? Or does it take us changing too? Our behavior, what we value, how we treat each other online. Something to chew on as we head into this wild world of the Finternet. Until next time, thanks for diving deep with us.